Welcome back, 7 Days of Wisdom, episode 24. I am your host, Aquaus Kelley. Today is officially Monday morning, 1:38 a.m. or Sunday night, depending on where you are, April 17th, April 18th, 2016. Let's go. So today we will be discussing perception and perfection, and then we will be hopping into quotes of the week and recapping on a few wins this week, a few gains. So let's hop right into it. I don't want to keep you for too long. So number one, last week, this was Wednesday, in the middle of the week. For some reason, I thought about the idea of perfection, and then also the idea and concept of perception and how we perceive perfection. And I put as an update, one of my status updates, it's important not to allow the perception of perfection to hinder us from moving forward. Nothing is perfect from the start. Many things aren't perfect at the end. It's the dash in between that enables us to learn through our experiences of doing, our experience of doing. So it's really all about doing. We must do something. It's important that we're not afraid to start somewhere. Before we reach the end, we must begin. A lot of people get caught up in the idea of perfection to the point that they never start anything because they're all entangled in, I don't want to start yet because I want it to be right. Honestly, it'll never be right, especially if you don't start. It can never be right if you don't start. You have to start somewhere. You know, if it wasn't for me starting this web series, starting 7 Days of Wisdom, then I wouldn't be on my 24th episode. Of course, there are a lot of improvements I'm looking to make. Better gear, better production, better cameras, just a better setup overall. But in terms of content, I can say that I am pretty satisfied, pretty appreciative of the content so far in regards to what we've discussed, the episodes, the topics we've touched on, the feedback, especially as people are starting to gain more traction and tune in more. I have a handful of friends who've reached out to me and really appreciate what I'm doing. Shout out to Isaiah. We spoke last week, had a good conversation on Dream Killers. Shout out to Matt from my Home Depot days. We'll be connecting soon. So it's good to see that people are absolutely tuning in. Shout out to Thomas, who tunes in every Monday on his way, to work, training clients early in the morning. He's someone who told me that this is part of his Monday morning ritual. So just to hear stuff like that is a testament that you don't have to be perfect in order to start something. So let's get out there, get up and get fit, get out there and start something. That's the only way we can improve and get better, is to start somewhere. So that's the quick spiel on perception, how we see things, and perfection. Specifically, how we perceive perfection. Because it's not really about the end result, and I spoke about this in the past. It's about the journey towards getting where we achieve and where we envision ourselves being. So that's that. As I mentioned, I don't want to take up too much time this week, so let's hop right into quotes of the week. Monday, Deborah Rowland said that in leadership roles, the most important work often happens in the least comfortable spaces. So that covers the idea of leadership, and it also covers the idea of communication and being comfortable with communicating in sometimes uncomfortable spaces and environments and conditions. When we're leaders, communication should surpass everything else. No matter how comfortable or uncomfortable we may be, it's our job as leaders to communicate what needs to be communicated, if that makes sense. Communicate what message needs to come across. That's our responsibility as leaders. Next, not everyone is cut out to do what we're here to do. That's why we're here doing it. So that was Monday as well. And some people just aren't cut out to do certain things, while others are. And that's why we're here to do what we're here to do, pretty much, as individuals. So once we hone in on that, it's just a matter of pushing, keep going forward, and making things happen. Next, Tuesday, I'm driven by the desire to create a better society. That's something I came up with. And, to translate it to be more inclusive, it's important for us to be driven by the desire to create a better society. Because I feel that a better society translates to better lives for everyone. When we could create a better society, it enables us to add value to something bigger than just us, bigger than our personal goals. And that, I feel, is very important. Thursday, passion often leads to business opportunities. This was an article This was an article I read on LinkedIn by a girl who goes by the name of Sandra. And I posted this on my Facebook wall as well. And she just said, a lot of volunteer opportunities for her doing things that she enjoyed doing would lead to business opportunities with people she does business with to this day. So let's think about things we're passionate about, things that we love doing, things that we enjoy doing, and look at opportunities that would allow us to do that. Whether it's volunteer, whether we do it for free, whether we get a stipend, whatever it is, let's just think about what we enjoy first. And then through that enjoyment, through meeting people, through those experiences, and through other people seeing us at our best and most joyful moments, they want to create business opportunities for us. They want to create business opportunities from that. They want to create business opportunities with people they see who are passionate about what they do. So passion often leads to business opportunities. Sandra. Friday, text in between tasks. So I'm big on productivity. I'm big on optimization. I am big on efficiency and effectiveness. And this is just something I thought of while I was achieving some things. It's easy for us to be distracted with our phone. And I just thought about how annoying it can be, having ringtones buzzing all the time and just being pulled in certain directions. And I'm just always looking at more effective ways to work. So I see it as if I'm working on a particular task, let me finish the task, and then I might check my phone. But I don't want to constantly have to check my phone just to check my phone and be responsible, be reactive. I'd rather focus on completing a particular task and then check in with other people who may need my attention. next Friday again, the more we learn, the more connections we make. The more connections we make, the more opportunities we create. That's probably my favorite quote for this week. And when I say connections, I don't necessarily mean human connections, like networking. I mean connections as in connecting pieces, connecting dots to the puzzle. When we learn, for example, when we read magazines, books, we're able to connect ideas and thoughts from other people. And the more connections, the more ideas we can connect, the more thoughts we can connect, the better we position ourselves to see things, right? And our perspective on life becomes more advanced. And we become more mindful. And when we become more mindful, the more connections we make, the more opportunities we create, because we are aware of our environment. We are aware of the different opportunities. We know how to leverage opportunities. We know how to fill in gaps. So that's what allows us to connect pieces and optimize and take advantage of opportunities that come our way, because we are prepared. We are mindful. We made connections. So that's what I mean. The more we learn, the more connections we make. The more connections we make, the more opportunities we create. That was Friday. And then earlier yesterday, Sunday, technically, I was in the kitchen, just around the house, and this came to mind. Don't wait for the miracle. Work towards the miracle. Don't wait. Do not wait. It's important to be patient, but patience doesn't necessarily require waiting. Patience just requires being patient. Patience just requires not really rushing towards a particular goal or particular outcome. But just because you're not rushing doesn't mean you're not moving. Patience still requires, you to move forward on something. It may not be the same thing, but it may be something else that you can address. So while you're patiently waiting for one thing, you are moving forward on another thing. It doesn't mean to stop and just stand still and don't do anything. No, it means you move forward in one direction or another direction. So we don't have to wait on anything. Sometimes we may have to wait. But that doesn't mean that we stop. Just because we wait doesn't mean we have to stop. We're always moving. And while we're moving, let's work towards something. So don't wait for miracles. Don't wait for things to come your way. Work towards the miracle. Work towards what you want to achieve. And throughout that process, patience is a virtue. Patience is important. However, keep working. Keep pushing. So a few highlights for this week. This past Tuesday, I had the privilege and honor to be a part of a column in Inc. magazine, Inc.com. Shout out to Chris Denson, who, made this happen. It was an article on Troy Carter. He interviewed Troy Carter for his Innovation Crush podcast. I did a write-up because I really enjoyed the interview. And what was discussed in the interview, they discussed entrepreneurship, empathy, innovation, startups, diversity within Silicon Valley, and a lot of different topics. So I did a write-up on my website. I'll give you a link to that at loversambition.com. You can find the link in the notes for this 7 Days of Wisdom video series at the bottom to check that out. But yeah, it's definitely nice to create something, create a piece, have people acknowledge it, have someone acknowledge it, and then not only do they acknowledge it, but they also feel the need to share it with their audience. So Once again, shout out to Chris for picking that up. Inc.com column, you can find that, and it is actually entitled on Inc. 5 Uncommon Skills Every Entrepreneur Needs to Win Big. So if you look that up, you can find me on that. Some cool music I came across this past week. An artist from Baltimore, Maryland, who currently lives in Los Angeles, California. Name is Rose Gold. Song is titled Drive Me to Drink. And it was just a very beautiful sounding record. And I came across that via the Good Vibe recordings. And it's just something that caught my ear. I must have played it like 20, 25 times. So I have that posted as well. You can check that song out. Gives me a very nostalgic, like 70s kind of vibe with the modern twist to it. And, you know, very, very soulful record. So once again, Rose Gold, Drive Me to Drink. I'll be keeping an eye on her as she continues to grow throughout her career. And I hope you enjoy that if you decide to check it out. Lastly. So, I was on Twitter and I came across a tweet by Yes Jules. If you're not familiar with Yes Jules, look it up. YesJulz. Has a massive following. Reps Miami. You know, does a lot of dope events for the culture. And her thing is connecting cool with conscious. And she was in Haiti maybe a week or so ago. 2 weeks ago. And on her Snapchat, she was really expressing her passion for just wanting to make the world a better place, you know, being in a position that she's in. She's, you know, somewhat of an influencer, tastemaker. Brands look to her for a lot of things. She gets sent a lot of things. And she has a pretty big footprint in regards to the up-and-comers in entertainment. So she was just expressing the need for people to come together and connect for a better cause, you know, and use their influence to have a positive impact on society. And when I heard that, it took me back to a quote that I actually pinned on my Twitter page. And you can actually find that because it's still pinned at the top of my Twitter page. If you check out twitter.com/Aquaus or just at Aquaus, Aquaus. And it pretty much is along the line of where can we create a global community for those who express an interest in changing the world. I really just want to be surrounded by people who want to change the world at the end of the day. So regardless of what industry you're in, you know, I want to connect with people who have that similar passion of just changing the world for the better, coming together, using our skills and talents to, you know, create a better world for people. And I really connected with her when she expressed that message on her Snapchat. And I look forward to the possibility. I'm sure we'll cross paths in the future. I look forward to the possibility of working with her in some capacity, whether it's on the entertainment side, but better yet, on the philanthropic side. So, shout out to Yes Jules and her movement, everything she's doing. Shout out to Norma now as well, with the events and everything that she's doing. And I'm just looking forward to connecting with a lot of good people in the future who are doing good things and wanna leave an impact on this planet. So with that being said, 7 Days of Wisdom, episode 24, 1:58, almost 2 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning. 24 weeks in, man, like, it's crazy. We just getting better though. Looking to bring you better visuals. It's only a matter of time. Get things together. The content is still strong. And yeah, enjoy the week. It's been a pleasure. Aquaus Kelley signing off. Have an impactful week. Hopefully I didn't forget anything, but I probably did. But yeah, enjoy the week. See y'all next week for episode 25. Peace.